Hello to all my beautiful listeners, and welcome to I Wrote That, a podcast where we bring industry experts and authors together to talk about all things books. My name is Larissa Sohn, and I'm here as your local book coach and best-selling author and ghostwriter. Today, I'm really excited to bring on my guest, Nicole MacCaron, to talk about her upcoming novel, which releases on April 13th. So very excited to have you here. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am on my third novel now, Hazel's Portal. It's part of the Hazel series. First one being Hazel's Shadow, middle one, Hazel's Mirror, and finally Hazel's Portal. I am also a teacher. I teach kindergarten and grade 1 this year in Canada. I've been a teacher for about 7 years. I am also married. I had lived in Ireland for a little bit, that's where I got married to my husband. That's pretty much me. I'm like verging on athletic. I like to do kayaking. I do weight training, little things like that. Yeah.
Awesome. So a very well-rounded author.
Like to think so. I try.
Yeah. And that's so important. Like when we get into this authorship journey, like you're on your third book, I'm on my millionth, it feels like, but it can shift the balance in your life very much. So how do you find yourself when you get into writing sprints that a lot of the rest of life kind of falls away, or do you manage it fairly well?
I have tried a bunch of different approaches to this, and right now I feel like it's a very moving journey for me. Like I try one way and then I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. It served me for a while. Now I'm on to the next one. So the most recent book, I spent most of it writing in the mornings before work. And in that way, I was able to give myself like a time limit. I didn't feel like I was going to be doing this forever. So it didn't feel overwhelming. Whereas in the past, I've done like NaNoWriMo, where I felt like, oh my God, I have so much that I have to write. And it started to go from that fun, I'm lost in it feeling, to this is too much, got overwhelming. So even though it worked really well for a while, I had to move on to a new strategy. And so now I'm writing first thing in the morning. And that has helped a lot. It cuts down on how much time I'm there. It's got the habit. And that way I can get into those moments where I'm just lost in it. And then I'm like, oh, time to get ready for work. Gotta go now, Oh,
that's so cool that you say that, because I think time limits do really cool things to author. One, they motivate us to sit and write for, let's say, 45 minutes a day. But you're talking about the flip end of like, don't go over 45 minutes a day because it starts to eat into your life. So that's really cool. What a cool growth thing to go through. The other thing, and I write about this in my my upcoming book that's coming out in May, that the moment I started thinking about my book in like big picture, like I have to write 60, 70, 80,000 words plus, I got super demotivated. Like it was so overwhelming, and kind of what you're talking about. Like I had to break it down into milestones of like, I'm going to write for 45 minutes today, and not let that idea overwhelm you. Right.
Yes. Yeah. Because if you don't back out now and then to see the big picture, you need that. But if you're focused solely on the big picture, you're like, how am I supposed to do that? I've got so many other things going on. And then you get overwhelmed with the entirety of the big picture, all the life pieces that get in the way. So sometimes I'll even go even smaller. I'll go, I'm writing a page today. And maybe after work, I'll write another page. And I won't freak out over like, oh no, I didn't get a page done. Right. It's just, this is the way life is today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's super great. So you write in the young adult category genre, but you're a grade school teacher. So how did you land in young adults?
I think because I always just kind of liked to read young adult myself, like especially fantasy, that it just sort of was the starting point for me. I knew I would enjoy it. I wanted to dive in myself and write that myself. And so that's what I did. I just went for it. As far as teaching such a young age goes, I knew I wanted to be a writer and a teacher my whole life. So I was a little bit interested in teaching more of the higher grades, which would match what I've written. And I think one day I might, but I also just love the energy of the little kids and how funny they are. So it's almost like I have these two different parts of my personality. And by writing for the young adult and for teaching the littles, it actually helped me to align the two things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I think I jump genres a lot. I've written nonfiction, I've written fantasy, I've written romance, and it feels like a different part of your brain that
Yes.
activates. Totally. So I get like how teaching, littles for the last 7 years without the balance of the young adult, switch in your brain, it might lead to burnout, right? Like, but you've got this good variation. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So your third book is coming out on April 13th. Hazel's Guard is coming out April 13th. Talk about your first two books. Like so many authors burn out after the first one. That's enough for them. The experience wasn't good. They didn't get the sales. It just hasn't been positive. How has it been for you leading into book 3?
So it was really tricky. Oh, it's Hazel's Portal, by the way.
Hazel's Portal. Sorry.
No worries. So Hazel's Portal. In the start, I was really excited to do it. And partially because I've wanted to do it my whole life, right? So like I wrote my first book when I was 12, and then I was writing books throughout. And then I got to this point where I was like, okay, I need to publish this. I need to move on it now. Like it's time. And so I had that really motivated, like, let's do this, let's go. It was 2020. It was when COVID hit. I was like, oh, I'm canceling my launch party. Great. So then the second book, that was brutal. But then the second book hit about a year and a half later, might have been just a year. And for that one, it was kind of like, okay, we're starting to come out of the COVID things now. I can do like launch parties and stuff like that. So in some ways that was a little bit of a motivator. It was like, I didn't quite get what I wanted out of it the first time. So let's do it the second time. And then the third one, I just had that advice where, as an indie author, if you have a series, you're more likely to have readers continue with you. And so for the third one, my motivation was the readers. I wanted to have them come along with me and to carry on together. So that was my goal with this last one, was to keep a fan base. Whereas the first one's starting out as the excitement of like, oh, I'm an author. You know what I mean? And now it's let's keep together. Let's keep going.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people get really discouraged by their first book sales numbers. Like you go into it kind of expecting, like if you've never dipped your toe in it before, that this is going to make you millions. Yeah. And it's so when you sell less than 100 books and you'd only make a couple $100, it can be really demotivating. But that second book, like you were talking about, is going to boost the sales of your first book. And it's just this snowball effect, right? Because you're going to be better at marketing. You're going to have a better audience. You're going to have a newsletter, a blog, resources, connections that are going to make the process so much better the second, third.
It's almost like you have to jump in. You just have to go. And even if some of it is a little bit blind, you kind of learn on your feet. You learn as you're progressing through the process.
Yeah, totally. And an investment, right? It is an investment in your time and your energy that you have to find the positives with. For me, my positive, my books sit on my desk every day, and it is just the biggest boost to my confidence. My daughter, she's 5, she sees these books and she understands the value of them. So books are more than just the profit you make off of them. It's the feeling you get from them. It's the connections you make with them. It's incredible. They're incredible.
Yeah.
Very
I guess
cool.
That helps too, because then I can show my little guys. And I mean, it's a scary book. So when I bring it in, I say, just so you know, this is fake, right? The person who wrote it is literally standing in front of you. It's not real, but here it is. And then we get that little, this sort of thrilling conversation between us where they're actually just learning to write. And I get to go, you can end up doing this, right? And so as a teacher, it's been really wonderful to be able to show them, like, this is why we're doing this. You can become something, I mean, we're going to use writing for all sorts of things in our lives, but this is one direction you can go. And so it can be really exciting. And that also brings me some motivation.
Yeah. It just fosters a whole different type of growth in a child's mind when they can talk to somebody that's done it. Like, obviously people wrote their books, but their mind doesn't like draw that link from authorship. Like, somebody had to write this book. Somebody had to create the pictures, the design, all of it, but you're living and breathing in their classroom. They're seeing it every day. So it's very cool inspiration of the younger generation.
One of my favorite parts of teaching is to be able to show them that.
Yes. Yeah, that's very cool. So your book, April 13th, you have a special offer to kind of drum up excitement, get people involved. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm going to be giving away the first chapter of Hazel's Portal, which I think is a really interesting one because it is a character returning who I didn't even see that they would be returning. So I don't want to say who it is, but for those who have been following along with the series, we've got somebody coming back and it's pretty exciting and pretty out there as well. I've crossed a line in this one that I also didn't anticipate crossing. So I don't know that if I can say that much more, but yeah, we're diving into territory of death and what's on the other side.
Ooh, I love that.
First chapter.
I was gonna say when my characters leave my books, they're dead, so there's no coming back. But
right.
you're dipping into the paranormal aspect of it. That's very cool.
Yes.
How do they grab that chapter from you?
They can sign up for my author newsletter if you go to my website, which is NicoleMacCaron.com. That's Mac with double C's and double R's, NicoleMacCaron.com. You can sign up for the author newsletter there, and I will send it straight out to you.
Perfect. And we'll drop that link in the show notes as well. Okay,
Perfect.
Nicole, I want to wrap up with my absolute favorite question. And this, you're a good one to ask because you have 3 books. What advice do you have for aspiring or even established authors?
Man, I could talk on this topic forever. But I think one of the main things that has really helped me was getting my head around this idea of approving of yourself. Because I know when I first started out, I wanted to go traditional. And I realized that the reason I wanted that was because I wanted somebody to say to me, you know, your book is good enough. Mm-hmm. It deserves to be out here. People will want to read it. And I had to kind of back off of that and go, you know what? I don't need somebody to come and rescue me and put my book out there for me. I can do this myself because I approve of myself and I know that I've put the work in, right? You have to kind of trust that you've got this, that other people do it, you know, that it is possible in general. So for me, I have that little mantra, you know, I approve of myself and I have to remind myself that I've put in the work. Mm-hmm. I deserve to be here. It kind of fights against that imposter syndrome a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's such good advice because I want to do a whole episode on like a very biased look at traditional publishing. And it is totally biased. I'm an indie author through and through. I support indie. I primarily have indie authors on this podcast, like raw indie authors. Mm-hmm. But there is this mentality that traditional is better. And I just strongly disagree with that. It is the validation of your book, but it's the validation that your book meets the fad at the time. It's the validation that your book will make money, but that doesn't mean a successful book. I have read traditionally published books that are terrible.
Yes, me too.
Right? It is not a validation of your writing skills. It's not a validation of your story. It's a validation that someone thinks they can profit from you.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's one of those really tricky things because we also want to have the profit. Like that in an ideal world, we could support ourselves on our creativity. But there's so much more to it than that. There's so much more that you get out of it. And your book can be just as high quality as a traditionally published author if you put the work in. Yeah. And that's why we desperately need these reviews, right? Because you can review a traditional book and an indie book, and you can see there where the quality is. Yeah. If a typical reader reads a traditionally published book, they might be like, this sucked. You know, just because the publisher says it's good doesn't mean you can rely on that. It's just because it's in a bookstore where you can't see the reviews. You only see the top ones that are on the back cover. That's why I like Amazon, because you actually can have all the reviews sitting there for you. Yeah. That's why they're the lifeblood of the indie authors. They put us on.
Yeah. Totally. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Again, April 13th, get in line for the newsletter. And once you sign up for her newsletter, you're going to get the exclusive link to buy her book on April 13th, which is launch day. And I do want to ask, what launch plans do you have?
Oh man, I've got a few things going. I'm going to be giving away a copy of the other 2 books ahead of time. So Hazel's Shadow first and then Hazel's Mirror. So in the 2 weeks leading up, if people want to come to my TikTok, which is Nicole MacCaron, or my Instagram, which is Writers Are Readers, I'll have it on there too, and they can sign up. And it's going to be like a, share, like, and you'll be entered in to win. So I've got 2 free books. I've got the chapter ready to go, exclusive excerpt of that chapter. Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, good luck with everything. And yeah, head to the link in the show notes and grab her free chapter to support her on her launch April 13th.